Plenty of controversy has surfaced over a question from one of the leaders of the Minnesota's higher education system. He asked whether diversity is the reason enrollment is dropping at one university. As Kirsten Mitchell reports, the U of M regent isn't saying sorry tonight. He's doubling down.
Steve Sviggum in the hot seat after comments about the Morris campus went from this:
"We need to promote, and it's important to promote DEI and diversity,"
to this:
"Is it possible that at Morris we've become too diverse?"
The U of M regent's vice chair and former Republican State House Speaker continued.
I've received a couple letters, two actually, from friends whose children are not going to go to Morris because it is too diverse, let's say, a campus. They just didn't feel comfortable there.
Morris's acting chancellor responded, saying she had recently met with BIPOC students.
I think that they would be shocked that anyone would think our campus was too diverse.
Of the 1,000 students enrolled this fall, the majority are white, followed by American Indian. Qualified Native students attend campus tuition-free. Some of the campus buildings were once an American Indian boarding school.
The meeting was held here at the McNamara Alumni Center last Thursday. I reached out to the Board of Regents chair, Ken Powell. He said the board has been a strong supporter of the diversity efforts in both employment and student enrollment.
Sviggum doubled down on his comments as a guest Monday on the Morning News with Vanita Sakar on WCCO Radio.
One number, enrollment has gone down 40%. One number, the diversity number, has gone up 40%. It's fair to at least ask the question. I don't see asking a question as being offensive or wrong, and certainly not racist, Anita.
Uncomfortable is the same word I would use to describe some of my experiences as a Native American college student.
Dylan Young, president of the Morris Campus Student Association, sent a letter to Sviggum, signed by more than 200 students, inviting him to campus, to which he agreed.
It is unbelievable that someone would think diversity is part of that problem. Like I say,
Stick with us. Some pretty important safety tips to ensure a safe hunting season.